Mark Brown, and this is my journey deeper into God's Word. A little bit different today. I'm taking a break from working through 1 Peter because I'm responding to some fairly significant feedback. I posted on some of my Facebook walls a new tattoo I've got, and last count was like nearly 700 comments. A lot against, a lot for, and I've discovered that this is a controversial topic, and a lot of people are saying, would I do some teaching on it, explain why me, a pastor, why I've got the tattoo or tattoos. So let me first, I'm not going to take my shirt off and show you because I don't think that's appropriate, but I have got a photo here, the photo that I posted on Facebook. Let me just show you what the tattoo is so you can get an idea. So that's the tattoo there, 2 arms linked, and I think it's pretty obvious what the tattoo is about, but let me just start with a bit of an explanation and then we'll get into see what the Word has to say about it. But it's right across there and it's very itchy. That's part of the tattoo healing. For me, it's a relationship with God, of God holding on to me through a very difficult time, and also generally in my life, knowing that God's got a hold of me, knowing that I'm loved, that He's, when I see that, I'm reminded. And also it's an unusual one, it's an original one. I know that there's no one else who has that specific tattoo. The guy who tattooed me was absolutely superb. And it's a talking point, so that when people ask me, why have you got that on your back, I can talk to them about the role of God in my life and the way He supports me. So that's the tattoo, that's the reason I got the tattoo. Now, why did I get the tattoo? And a lot of people are saying, well, the Bible clearly says that the tattoo is wrong. In fact, some people have gone to the extreme saying that a tattoo is a sin. So let me have a look at it. The passage, there's only one mention in the Bible of the word tattoo, and the Hebrew for the word is aqua, and that literally means to cut. Is once in the Bible, and we would find it in Leviticus 19, verse 28. Let me read. Verse 28. Do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourself. I am the Lord. And for that reason, a lot of people are saying it clearly means the Bible is saying that tattoos are wrong, because it clearly says do not put tattoos on yourself. Okay, let me read a passage, the verse before then. Do not cut the hair at the sides of your head or clip off the edges of your beard. It also says in verse 26 of Leviticus 19, do not eat any meat with the blood still in it. So if we're going to take this passage that says that tattoos do not tattoo, do not cut, then why don't we also take it when it says that we can only eat a certain type of meat, which says do not eat any meat with the blood still in it. Now that's about kosher food. That's about having a specially prepared meat, which none of us, I don't know any Christians who do that. Should we be expecting that? It also says that we should be aware of how we have our hair cut, and that we don't trim our beards, and that we don't cut down the sides here. Should we be doing that as Christians? If it says in one verse that we're meant to do something around tattoos, why are we ignoring the other verses? Well, there's a good reason for that. These passages are for a very particular group of people, not for us. And that group of people were the pagans that surrounded the Israelites. They had very unusual practices. And God was clear to the Israelites to say, demarcate, be distinct from those pagans. And one of the things that they did was that they would mark their bodies as part of their grieving process. And again, if you read verse 28, you'll see it says, do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks. So that was a way of them being seen as pagans. It was a very specific message to a specific group of people. It was not something that was meant to be universally understood. Now, the reason I think that today Christians get upset with the idea of a tattoo and why there's so many comments about my tattoo is for cultural reasons. So they don't feel comfortable with a tattoo, and that's fine. That's their choice. Or maybe someone significant, a leader significant in their life has said tattoo is a sin. Well, that's all well and good, but the Bible does not support that. What does support it is it's their perspective. It's a human laying over. It's a cultural statement, not a biblical statement. The Bible is not clear. It is not saying it's a sin. It is saying that it's a practice that the Israelites had to do to make them distinct from the pagans around them. So really then the only thing we fall back onto is, I think, can be found, which is a wonderful passage for any question you have about cultural practices today or something today, can be found in Romans 14. And it says this in Romans 14:23, and this is what's guiding me, and I want to share about this. But the man who has doubts is condemned if he eats, because he is eating is not from faith. Now listen to this, and everything that he does not come from faith is sin. And everything that does not come from faith is sin. That's a pretty powerful statement, but that's not a bad guiding principle. So the question I now ask myself, as I considered getting this tattoo, is this from faith? Now what that means in practice, is this something that glorifies God? Is this something that builds my relationship with Christ? Is this something that I can use to witness and evangelize? Is this something that will build and grow my faith? Well, the answer clearly is yes, or so I wouldn't have got the tattoo. So that really is, for me, the guiding principle. This tattoo on my back is something that deeply represents my relationship with God, the support that I have from Him in times of struggle. It's like an image of being in a swamp. Sometimes life is like being in a swamp or a quagmire, and I reach out my arm, and God's arm is there, and I hold on to God. That's significant. It's my arm. One of those arms is my arm, and it's holding on, and that God pulls me out. I'm holding on to God, and God is holding on to me, drawing me out of that swamp. This is an expression of my faith, and I can't wait, like I am right now, to tell the story of what that tattoo means. Now, if you're watching this and you're a parent, as I am, and you have an 18-year-old who's asking the questions about a tattoo, or if you're asking the question yourself, should I get a tattoo? Let me give you some guiding, practical thoughts to finish off. First thing is, it's permanent. State the obvious. Think ahead. Imagine what it's going to be like when you're 60 or 70 or 80. Are you going to be happy with it? The second thing is, make sure you're old enough. The Bible is clear. You come under, you respect your elders and your parents, and if your mother and father are not comfortable with it, you have to listen to them, and I have no problems with that. Get their permission. Get them on board. The next practical thing is, get a really good tattoo artist. Ask around. See their work. Believe me, there are some shocking tattoos out there. The next thing is, it's going to be painful. It is painful to get done, and it takes a while. And the final thing I want to say is you need to be careful how you care for it. It needs special care. So when you get a tattoo, make sure you ask the tattooist, how do I care for this afterwards? But fundamentally, make sure that it's a significant tattoo that tells the story of your faith, that is an opportunity to share with others about your relationship with God. I nearly had tattooed the words, trust God, and maybe one day I will. I don't know. But for this tattoo across here, this was the one that stood out for me, of being pulled out of the quagmire. So number one is, make sure it's something that meets that Romans expectation, that it comes from faith. God bless.